The best man pulled me aside before the wedding and told me a secret that changed everything. I was standing just steps away from the altar, the music starting to play, when my best man leaned in close and said something that made my entire world stop spinning. "You don't know what she did, man. My name's Ryan. I'm 32 years old, working in cybersecurity and living what most people would call a well-put-together life in Austin, Texas. I'd been with my fiancée, Emma, for 4 years. She was 29, worked in healthcare administration, and had the kind of personality that people naturally gravitated toward: warm, intuitive, and effortlessly social. You could drop her into any room and she'd come out knowing everyone's names, dietary restrictions, and probably their childhood trauma. We met at a New Year's Eve party thrown by a mutual friend. Emma was laughing with a glass of wine in her hand, head tilted back, completely at ease. I remember thinking I hadn't seen someone that alive in years. We talked the whole night. It wasn't fireworks right away, but something more solid, grounded, steady. Within 6 months, we'd moved in together. Everyone said we were goals. Emma and I complimented each other. I was methodical. She was spontaneous. I planned. She improvised. We had the kind of relationship people envied on Instagram. The matching holiday pajamas, the weekend cabin trips, the whole curated romance aesthetic. But underneath it, I thought we were real. I thought we had something unshakable. I proposed on our 3-year anniversary. A quiet moment by the lake, just the two of us. She cried, said yes, and everything after that became a whirlwind of planning. Vendors, deposits, spreadsheets, and Pinterest boards. Emma seemed busy, often stressed, but I chalked it up to wedding pressure. If she was distant, I figured she needed space. If she snapped at me, I assumed I'd caught her at a bad moment. I trusted her, completely. The wedding was set for a Sunday afternoon in late spring. We rented a quiet hilltop venue overlooking the Texas countryside. Small guest list, intimate ceremony. Emma's idea. She didn't want a big show, just the people who mattered. Her maid of honor was Grace, her best friend from college. My best man was my younger brother, Tyler. 2 years younger, less polished, but loyal to the bone. The night before the wedding, we had the rehearsal dinner. Everyone laughed, toasted, gave speeches. Emma looked beautiful, radiant. At one point, she leaned in and whispered, "I can't believe it's finally happening." Neither could I. The morning of the wedding, I woke up nervous but ready. I triple-checked my vows, pressed my suit one more time, and walked into the venue thinking this was going to be the best day of my life. And it was, in one very twisted way, because it was the day I finally saw everything clearly. I was in the groom's suite, pacing like a caged animal, checking my watch every few minutes. The music had started. Guests were arriving. My tie was already knotted, my shoes polished. Everything was ready. Then Tyler walked in. He looked like he hadn't slept. His face was pale, his eyes bloodshot. He shut the door behind him like he was trying to keep something out, or maybe in. "You got a second?" he asked. "Yeah, what's up?" I replied, still half focused on memorizing the last line of my vows. He stood there, not saying anything at first. Then he said, "I don't know how to do this, man. I've been going back and forth about whether I should even say anything, but I can't let you walk into this blind." My stomach twisted. "What are you talking about?" He took a deep breath. "Emma cheated on you." I stared at him, trying to process the words. "What?" "6 months ago," he said. "Grace found out. She caught Emma with a guy she'd been seeing, someone from her gym. Apparently it had been going on for a few months. Emma told her it was over. But then during the bachelorette weekend, Emma admitted she wasn't sure you were the one, said she felt trapped." I blinked at him, searching for any sign that he was lying or exaggerating. But Tyler wasn't the type. He wasn't dramatic. If he said this, he meant it. "And you're just telling me this now?" I said. "Grace swore me to secrecy. Said Emma was done with it. She thought you were better off not knowing. But when I saw her yesterday, she told me what Emma said over drinks. That she settled for you. That she didn't know if marrying you was a mistake." I couldn't stay quiet. There was a long silence. I sat down on the bench near the window. I could hear the soft hum of music outside, guests taking their seats, the wind catching the edge of a veil. Everything felt fake. I looked up at Tyler. "Do you know who the guy is?" "No name, just someone from her gym. Grace never pressed her." I nodded. "Where is Emma now?" "Bridal suite, getting ready." I stood, straightened my jacket. "I need to talk to her. Alone." Tyler didn't stop me, just opened the door and stepped aside. I walked upstairs, my footsteps hollow on the wooden floor. I knocked once and entered the bridal suite. Emma turned around, all lace and lipstick. "Ryan, we need to talk." Her face changed instantly. "Now?" "Yes, right now." I closed the door and stood there, watching her face cycle through confusion, concern, and the beginnings of panic. "I need you to be honest with me," I said. "Did you cheat on me?" She went still, then sat down slowly like her legs couldn't hold her weight. "Where is this coming from? Answer the question." She looked down. "It was a mistake," she whispered. "It happened. Once, maybe twice. I didn't plan for it. I ended it." "And the part where you told Grace you weren't sure if I was the one?" I asked, keeping my voice level. Her eyes filled with tears. "I was scared. You've always been so good to me. I didn't know how to measure up to that. I felt like I couldn't make mistakes without disappointing you." I let the words hang in the air for a second. Then, "So your solution was to make the biggest mistake possible?" "I didn't mean to hurt you," she said. "I was going to tell you. But then things got better. I convinced myself we'd moved past it." "You convinced yourself?" I said. "You didn't give me the choice." She stood up, reached for my hand. "Ryan, please. This doesn't have to end everything. People make mistakes. We can work through this." I stepped back. "Do you even love me?" I asked. "I do," she said. "I just lost my way." "You didn't lose your way," I replied. "You took a detour, lied about it, and tried to walk back like nothing happened." She wiped her eyes, mascara streaking her cheeks. "Don't do this now, please, not in front of everyone." I looked at her for a long time. This woman I had built a future around, and I realized I didn't know her at all. "I'm not going through with this," I said. "Not today, not ever." I turned around and walked out of the room, down the hallway, past the framed photos of our fake perfect love story. I heard her call my name once, but I didn't stop. There's a clarity that comes with betrayal. It cuts through the noise. It hands you a mirror and says, "This is the truth. Now do something with it." I walked straight out the front doors. The sun hit my face the moment I stepped outside. I squinted against it, not entirely sure where I was going, but knowing I couldn't stay in that building. The venue was picturesque, perfectly staged for a wedding that would never happen. Guests were still milling around, laughing, sipping water, chatting. Most didn't even know we were minutes from the ceremony. They had no idea that the groom had just walked out. I didn't make a scene. I didn't shout or demand everyone's attention. I walked to the parking lot, got in my car, and sat there with my hands on the steering wheel for a full 5 minutes before I turned the engine on. Then I drove away. Half an hour later, my phone started blowing up. First it was my mom, then Grace, then Emma. Tyler was the only one who didn't call. He texted, "You did the right thing. I'm proud of you." The rest of them, not so much. Emma called me 11 times that day. She left voicemails that started calm and apologetic and gradually turned desperate. She said she understood why I was hurt, said she could explain everything better if I just gave her a chance. Then came the guilt-tripping, "You just embarrassed me in front of everyone I love." Eventually, she ended one message with, "I hope you're happy." Grace, on the other hand, was furious. "You blindsided her," she said when I finally answered her call the next day. She was falling apart. "Grace," I said calmly, "you knew about this for months and never said anything." She told me she ended it. I figured it was better not to destroy the relationship over something that was done. "No, you figured I didn't need to know, that I couldn't handle the truth. But you don't get to decide that for me." She went quiet after that. Then came the fallout from Emma's family. Her mom sent a long email accusing me of humiliating Emma, of abandoning her when she needed grace and forgiveness. Her brother called me cold. Her aunt wrote a Facebook post that was so passive-aggressive it probably belonged in a Hallmark movie. My own family was divided. My mom was supportive, but heartbroken. She really loved Emma. My dad, a man of few words, just said, "You did what you had to do." Tyler, of course, was rock solid. He told me Emma tried to corner him after the guests were dismissed and screamed at him for ruining her life. He didn't apologize. He told her Ryan deserved the truth. The venue had to be canceled. The caterers paid half. The photographer was kind enough to refund 80%. Guests were notified via text that the wedding was postponed. No one used the word canceled, but we all knew what it meant. The weirdest part? Emma didn't stop trying. For 3 more weeks, she kept reaching out. She emailed me a 5-page letter. She sent flowers. She even showed up at my apartment once, standing at the door with red eyes and trembling hands. "I didn't mean to lose you," she said. But she didn't lose me. She threw me away. And I finally picked myself up and decided not to crawl back to someone who didn't respect me enough to be honest when it mattered most. It's been a year since the non-wedding. You'd think I'd remember that day with pain, but the truth is I remember it with clarity. It was the day I refused to settle for a lie. The day I decided that loving someone isn't the same as allowing them to hurt you without consequences. I never saw Emma again after that last doorstep visit. I didn't need to. There was nothing left to say. Closure doesn't always come from confrontation or long conversations. Sometimes it comes from walking away and meaning it. People always ask, "Do you think she loved you?" Maybe she did, in the way people love safety, comfort, or the version of you they can control. But love without honesty is just manipulation wrapped in sentiment. She loved the image of us, not the responsibility that came with it. Tyler and I are closer than ever. We go hiking every few weekends and he checks in more than he used to. He told me once, "You would have done the same for me." And he's right. I would have. But still, I owe him everything. Most people wouldn't have spoken up. He did. As for Grace, we haven't spoken since that last call. I hear from mutual friends that she and Emma drifted apart. Apparently, Grace thought Emma would rebound, find someone new fast, move on. But that didn't happen. Emma's still single, still living in the same apartment, working the same job. Someone told me she hasn't dated seriously since. I've gone on a few dates, but I'm not rushing anything. I'm not broken or bitter, just aware. There's a difference. If anything, I learned that trust is a privilege, not a default. That you can't build something lasting on unspoken doubts and half-truths. That when someone shows you who they are in the quiet moments, believe them. Emma showed me long before the wedding that something was off. I ignored it. I wanted the fairy tale so badly. I was willing to rewrite red flags into character quirks. That was on me. But the moment I found out the truth, I didn't ignore it. I acted, and I think that's what I'm proud of the most. Not that I left her, but that I didn't let myself stay out of fear of starting over. Starting over isn't the worst thing. Staying stuck in a lie is. So now I live with less noise. No wedding photos on the wall. No shared closet. No Mr. and Mrs. Muggs in the kitchen. Just me, my space, my peace. Sometimes people ask, "Aren't you afraid to trust again?" No, I'm not afraid, because now I know what to look for, and more importantly, I know what I won't tolerate ever again.